Good evening, President Martinez, Board Trustees, and Superintendent Aquino. This evening we have a brief budget update and a discussion about planning for the 23-24 budget. We always want to start our budget conversations with a reminder of our underlying values. These shared values will guide our budget process. We will always share the good news and the not so good news. We'll keep it balanced. We will communicate transparently and build trust with our stakeholders, and we will strive to keep the information understandable. We have an brief agenda tonight. We will be showing an update on student membership, student attendance, and the revenue from those two components for 22-23, and then we'll begin showing the planning for the next year budget coming 23-24. We will show a preliminary look at enrollment projections. We'll review the budget planning calendar. We'll review the community engagement that we have planned and show some of the topics that we're planning for our first budget workshop on February 25th. This slide shows the historical movement of both our student enrollment and projected enrollment, and then also our ADA for funding purposes over the span of years. You can see that our student enrollment did come in significantly higher than our projection, which is great, more than 600 students above plan, and that our ADA for funding purposes is a little bit lower than our planned budget, and we'll discuss that momentarily. We have our revenue projection broken into two different pieces. One is the change that's due to student enrollment count, and the other will be on the attendance side. So for student enrollment, the district had at snapshot time 623 students more than our plan, and that piece increases our revenue by about $5.4 million. On the student attendance side, through the first semester, we are at 88.5% of student attendance, and that is 1.5% below what we budgeted for, which was 90%. As we discussed previously, we always apply a seasonality adjustment to attendance when we measure it during the scope of the year prior to the end of the year. And we know from many years of collecting history that the seasonality is fairly predictable. So what we know about the first semester is that between the break in the first semester and the end of the year, we do lose a little bit more enrollment, generally speaking. I hope that we don't, but we're going to go ahead and use the 0.62 negative factor, which is what our history tells us, and apply that to the 88.5%. And that is where we're going to project at this time that we're going to finish the year at 87.88%. That's just a little bit more than 2% below our projection at budget time, and that is worth a decline of $6.8 million. When you put those two factors together for student membership and for student attendance, you can see that we're looking at a little bit of a decline in revenue for those factors of $1.2 million. That's 0.2% below our projected budget. Now, moving along into the new budget year for 23-24, we're ready to get started on having discussions about planning for that budget, and we always look forward to seeing our student enrollment projections. It's the base of basically many things that we plan around, and so what we're showing tonight is a very preliminary projection. It has come from Teresa's Urbazo's Research and Evaluation Department. We're calling it in a preliminary status because there are still campus principals and departments that are reviewing and refining some of the pieces of data. more than likely the small movements will be between campuses and not too much movement to the total number. So we're looking forward to another year with an increase in student enrollment for 23-24. This calendar just lays out what we have in place right now for expected meetings and workshops as we work toward our budget adoption on June 20th this year. And then subsequent to that, we'll be working on our tax rate adoption in August. This slide is just basically showing you what we have planned for community transparency and budget input. We had this website brand new to us last year, and it was really helpful. We received some feedback from the community and from our own staff about things that they were interested in with the budget. So this website will be launching for the 23-24 budget process on Monday, February 13th, and we will have our all of our meeting dates there, and we'll have a way for to collect the feedback. We'll remind everyone of our goals and values, and we'll post anything of particular interest to this site on our website. This slide is basically showing you the topics that we're working on to prepare for our first budget workshop on Saturday, February 25th. We'll be receiving a legislative update from Ana Alicia Romero and many other topics of interest that day that we look forward to sharing information. That does conclude my presentation. Thank you very much.